Allahu Akbar kabira. Walhamdulillahi kathira. Wa subhanallahi bukratan wa asila. Subhanallahi walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Walillahil hamd. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وزدنا علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. آمين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Surah Al-Baqarah, last of the verses and the most important advices for those who really believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His promises. And His promises, which sometimes He shows people in this world, and mostly since it comes about the money, the wealth, sharing blessings with others. So Allah has kept that ajr for the hereafter, where we would be needing it the most. And who knows our interest better than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Who knows what will benefit us the most than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So we might not find it so pleasing that every ajr is kept for the hereafter and nothing is for this life, or a little for this life and everything for the hereafter. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while He was already talking about how to utilize your wealth and giving different advices, He mentioned about giving wisdom. That wealth, you love it. This is the nature I have given to you. I have made wealth pleasing for you. I have put this love of wealth in your heart. I have put this love of your children and living for them in your heart. But at the same time, the most important thing is if you get the wisdom, how to know what is right, what is wrong, how to make right decisions. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the biggest wealth, and that comes along with faith. The stronger the faith, the higher the wisdom. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, some places Allah said, only those people who have wisdom, the heart which thinks, the thoughtful heart, the pure heart will accept the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is why wisdom comes with Iman. A person who has strong Iman will have great wisdom. That is why sometimes we are like worried about ourselves. Why can't we think just like how Sahabas could? Why can't we think like how the pious and the righteous people in the past have done for Islam and for themselves? Why can't we think like that? Because our Iman is not as strong. That's why we don't find that wisdom. Now think about the non-Muslims. Then it will make sense to you that why they are unable to see these benefits, which at least with low iman, at least we can see a bit of it. Because apparently they might dress up like the reasonable, the nobles of the society. They might be living in luxury houses. They might be famous, but they are lacking wisdom. That's why they want to earn everything in this life and they don't want to secure their hereafter. And this stops them from becoming Muslim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He is mentioning about how to spend your wealth wisely, Allah talks about the wisdom. And Allah says that He bestows wisdom upon anyone He wills. And he who is given wisdom is in fact given great wealth. But only those who have common sense learn lessons from these things. Then Allah continues, surely Allah knows whatever you may have spent and whatever you vow you may have made. And the wrongdoers who spend in the way of shaitan shall have no helpers. If you practice charity publicly, and these were the verses we pondered upon in the last class. If you practice charity publicly, it is good. But if you give charity secretly to the needy, it is much better for you. See, only a wise person can understand that. Only a person who has great faith in Allah and Allah's promises. Because here the promise Allah is not giving that I will increase your wealth in this world and you will be able to see it. If you give 100, I will give you 1,000 and you will be able to see it in your bank balance. Allah is not giving this promise. Allah is giving the promises which may include increase in this world, but hereafter, definitely the person will get that increase. So it is a promise which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely fulfill. And this wisdom, only a person who actually has believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and actually believes in the day of judgment will get. So Allah is saying, this is much better for you. Now, again, why? He is telling that also. For this will expiate many of your sins. You see, a complete package. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always gives a perfect plan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, okay, fine. You are, subhanallah, giving charity and you want to give it to the people openly, give it, no problem. That is also, if it is only for Allah's sake, you will get reward. And if you will do it secretly, that is going to be better for you. Why? Because it will elevate you from the status of ordinary people. You will be such a person who will not depend on others to reward you, regard you, or acknowledge what you have done, but you will only rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's acknowledgement. You will only expect your ajr from Allah, and this will elevate you from the ordinary people. You will become special in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else do we need? So we must have a secret with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this secret will be greatly paid off on the day of judgment. And that will be the surprise which will actually, subhanallah, make a person realize that his wisdom in this world has actually given back in its true sense. How Allah can do it. Only Allah can repay like that. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the shaitan will make promises to you as well. See, this is the promise of shaitan, promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan's promises you will see with your own eyes in this world. His promises, don't give for the charity. If you will give, your bank balance will be reduced. Yes, everybody can see that. I have 100 real in my bank balance. I see, okay, I'm left with 100 real today. Now someone comes and I see that someone is needy. I should help the person. I say, okay, if I give her or him 50 real, I'll be left with 50. This is the calculation with Shaitan is doing. Very realistic. That's why people immediately fall for him. And Allah is saying that you do help needy and do it secretly, and it is better for you. Now you can't see with this with your own eyes. So the promise of the shaitan, short-lived benefits. Promises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, long-lived, for hereafter, forever. And Allah never goes against his promise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like, that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is encouraging us. Do it secretly. And doing it secretly needs more strength, more power, more strong iman. Because we know that only Allah will know. And doing such a thing where sometimes maybe people will think of you as someone who is not doing anything. And it can hurt your feelings. And you feel like, okay, let me tell them I am also doing something secretly. No. Let shaitan tempt you. Let people think that you don't do anything in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep your secrets with Allah. It will make you a special person in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will make your faith get so strong that you will feel like you actually is a free person. Because you will submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, continuing, O Prophet, you are not responsible for their guidance. Allah Himself shows guidance to anyone He pleases. And whatever wealth you spend in charity, it is for your own good. As you spend of your wealth to win Allah's pleasure, you will be given full reward for whatever you spend, and you will not be deprived in the least of your rightful due. Now, the background of this verse is that some Sahabas, when they became Muslim and their families were still mushrik, non believers, that included their children, sometimes their parents, sometimes their wives, sometimes their other relatives. So they thought if we will, because we are responsible for them, and if we will not spend on them, they will automatically become Muslims. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, no, don't do that. This is not the character of a Muslim. We don't have to force people by putting the economical problems on them or psychological or somehow we if we are directly or indirectly forcing the person to become a Muslim, Allah doesn't want this. Allah does not want it at all. If somebody accepts Islam, it should be with free will. So Allah is telling you keep spending. Don't hold back your wealth just because of that. Because they thought spending on non Muslims is also not right. But when it's your duty, if it's your parents, it's your duty. If it's your children, you have to spend on them. If it's your wives, you have to spend on them. So you should do your job. Giving guidance is Allah's. and He'll take good care of that, who He should give. You be open minded like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the owner of your wealth. You be like Him because you are Allah's believers. You are Allah's servants. You are the worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you must have some qualities reflecting the Lord you worship. Subhanallah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, continuing with that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who are engaged so much in the cause of Allah that they cannot move about in the land to earn their livelihood and are therefore in straitened circumstances, especially deserve help. Again, you see, we learned about the greatest reward. Every deed has 10 is multiplied by 10. You do a good deed, Allah will multiply it by 10. This is yani for every good deed. But spending on the people who are fighting in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether they are students learning Islam to spread Islam, whether they are the fighters to defend Islamic countries, whether if there are such people, when we spend on them, then it is multiplied 700 times. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning the importance of that. That spend on those people who are spreading Islam, who are unable to earn themselves just because they are too busy teaching Allah's teachings to the other people. They need to travel, they need to leave their families behind. So their needs, if are fulfilled, that's the most worthy thing of a Muslim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they deserve special help. An ignorant person would suppose them to be well off because of their self respect. You can know their real condition from their faces. For they are not the ones who would beg of people with importunity, and Allah will surely know whatever you will spend on them. So, a true believer has two very important qualities as well. Number one, a true Muslim will always avoid letting other people know that he's needy. He will never go and tell people. He will hide due to his self respect. So, a good Muslim will always have self respect. It's not only about asking for money, it's about everything. Self respect is the most important thing for a Muslim. Secondly, he will not he will not beg to the people to help me. A true believer, because of his number one, he will have self respect. Number two, he will never go and beg and ask people to fulfill his needs. People will realize. That is why it is a duty of every Muslim to find out if there are Muslim brethren who need our help. Yes, to the new reverts, definitely they need even more. It's not only about spending money on them, it's about yani keeping them feel secured. Let them feel the community they have joined is always there to help them out whenever they need it. So it's like this is very unfortunate. It's a very good question that can we spend on new Muslims as well, the rewards. The problem is people become Muslim and especially women when they leave their families because they can't live with their non-Muslim husbands if they are married. So they have to leave them. And for this reason, they feel financially insecure and there is no one who can help them out. So most of the time, these reverts go back to their previous faith because of this reason. So yes, they also need in this era especially. So because it's everywhere, economics, finances, money, wealth, money, everywhere. So many people do not accept Islam because of this reason also. So yes, to the reverts and especially the females, we should take very good care of them. Not only financially, emotionally as well. Keep them close to yourselves. Always answer their calls. Always be there to help them out. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them to stay steadfast as well. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So now we will go for the lesson for today, inshallah, after understanding how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is emphasizing on spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the most, let's say, touchy topic of that time and of this time as well. As I said, the countries are fighting for economics to make their economics better. The countries are supporting their allies because they don't want their economy to fall. The countries are, or the individuals, day and night have become donkeys because they want to earn, and attain a standard of living. So it's all about increasing money. Somehow, whether it's halal or it's haram, for non Muslims, it doesn't matter at all. That's why you see gambling, you see fraud, you see stealing, you see all these things. Yani the modern techniques of stealing others' money. You see, it's okay for them. They think it's smartness. They are introducing new types of currencies every day, somehow to earn, increase, right? And the most easy way to do that, it was to lend money to a poor person with interest. And the Jews had this business running for centuries. Today also, they depend on that. Previously also, they depended on that. So when Prophet Muhammad SAW came to Medina, and you know, in Medina, Prophet Muhammad SAW had treaties with Jews so that they do not become an internal threat for Muslims. And those who want to accept Islam, they should accept Islam. So it was a good chance for them. So those peace treaties, the Jews, they themselves did not respect. And they broke them, and that is why it became a reason for them to be expelled from Medina. So you must have read the Seerah of Prophet Muhammad SAW and you understand these things. Now, at that time, this business of lending money to the people and having slaves trade, these were the top class businesses and the easy money. So they would capture a free person, sell him, and that person would be like, of course, forced to do that. He has nowhere to go. So this was the easy money. And then lend money or some product like rice or honey or dates. At that time, they were most of the time trading in dates. And you know, there are different types of dates. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the variety in dates, in rice, in raisins, the grapes. And they used to do it in these things, they used to do the trading, right? Now, in trading, when you are trading things like wheat, like rice, like barley, like the grapes, because this was the staple, also the most running items at that time. So what would people do if they are exchanging rice with the other type of rice? So they will look at the quantity or the equivalency and they will trade. You can call it barter as well. If with rice somebody is giving, let's say, grapes. So in that also they used to get the riba. How? Okay, you take today but do not exchange your product with me today and keep it for the next day or next month. So the value will be increased and this person will go in loss. He will have to give extra quantity of that product. This is called riba al-fadl. So riba al-fadl is when you exchange things, not money. It's not monetary. Riba al-fadl is done in products, right? And riba an-nasiya is when we take money, whether for personal loan or for the business. For personal loan or for the business. So in that, what happens? Somebody lends you money. Okay, take 100 real dollars, and when you will return it to me in these days, you put the terms. The conditions are you are taking 100 today, you will return it to me within a week's time, and you will give 10 extra. Okay. Now this is riba and nasiya. Fine. Now, how would that be accumulated? Apparently, 10 extra is not as much, and not everybody is taking the loan. So, how does it affect the lives of the poor people? Now, that person who has come to you because he is unable to afford 100 today and he is unable to earn it tomorrow as well, what will he do? He won't be able to pay off his debt as well as the interest money. So now this person who has given the money will say, okay, you could not give it to me within 1 week's time, which I gave you. Now double the interest amount. Now it's going to be 20. Either you pay it within 2 weeks or 10 extra will be added to you. Now the poor person who is unable to pay the 10 and the principal amount have to pay 100 plus 10 more, 10 more, 20 extra. By the time it reaches 10 times, now he has to pay the principal amount 100 and 100 as a debt amount, as the usury. And now imagine those who were never able to pay back. They were only living to pay off their usury, let alone the principal amount. And this is happening today as well in India, in many, let's not talk about only India, the whole banking system in the world, conventional banking is all about this. Okay, you have taken the loan. In this time period, you have to give this back along with this much money. And if you are unable to do that, then add this much extra. So this is how they are running their business. They don't have to do anything to earn more. Now, the question arises, okay, fine. If the person has a money, and of course, he's lending his money, he is subsiding his own needs, and he's giving the money to the other person. What is the problem if he asks for some extra and he earns like this? What the problem is? Why doesn't he have a right to do that? So first we'll read this verse and then we'll try to ponder upon that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. Now the examples, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always give the examples which are the most relevant to the human intellect. Everybody knows when somebody is a majnoon or is insane, he doesn't know what he's doing. He can be forced to do anything. He is like a puppet. Somebody can hold his strings and make him do anything. And it's here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who consume interest will stand on the day of judgment. And some scholars say that they will have this punishment in their graves as well. And they will live like this in this world as well. And apparently, yes, this is what happens with them. They are so crazy to earn more and more and more and more without realizing that they are taking haram money. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, such people are like what? Like those driven to madness by shaitan's touch. So when a person becomes too much into taking interest and is not ready to give up on that, he becomes the puppet of shaitan. Now he doesn't have his own brain in his control. His heart and brain are in the fists of shaitan. Now shaitan will make you do everything. As you said, some people have died because of this riba system. Some people, their generations have lived slavery because of this riba system. Their ancestors took some loan and four generations were unable to pay that off, and they lived like the slaves to those who lended the money to them. And still they could not pay it off. So at the end of the day, they took their lives. How can a person allow that? How can a person seeing poor people in such a dire condition, in such a devastating condition, and his heart doesn't melt? Only when shaitan has control. When shaitan will have control on your heart, on your brain, it will not let it melt. It will say, it's not you who is causing this harm to them. And sometimes it will make them say, where is your Allah? Why doesn't Allah help them? This is how he takes away the faith of the people as well. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the best example, like a majnoon. Those who eat riba, they are like majnoon. They are unable to think on their own. They just want to get more, more, more. And even you see some people, they have earned so much, they don't know where to utilize. And most of the time, such haram mal will be spent on haram things. Their children, they will be involved into gambling, drinking, spending on haram things, going to the clubs, going to the pubs. And I'm talking about Muslims' children. For non-Muslim, it's okay. They are already majnoon, they'll become double majnoon. But what about the Muslims? Allah is talking about Muslims here, not non Muslims. Remember this, these verses are not for non Muslims, these are for Muslims. Don't we see such Muslim entrepreneurs? Day and night, they just have one worry, how to increase my money. Whether to earn it by halal way or haram, I have to earn more and more and become the richest person of the world. Allah is saying such people do this because shaitan has touched them. And then Allah is saying they will become so yani, loose minded. They will become so bad that they will say bad things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you see? Stepwise. First of all, the shaitan makes them think that taking interest is okay. Today also, Muslims, you will listen to the Muslims saying this, that it's okay if we take money from a loan from the bank and we set up our business and we give back the usury. So bank earns, we earn, we are both benefiting. What's wrong in it? It's not riba. You will listen to the Muslims saying that. So this is the first step. No halal, no haram. No distinction. First thing, shaitan will do that. Secondly, whatever is the condition of the person you have lended money, become selfish. They die, let them die. Don't care about them. Just care about your money to be returned to you with interest. So you become selfish. First step, no care about halal or haram. Second step, completely become selfish. Close your eyes. Don't look at the people who are needing your support. You are not responsible for them. So you are totally disconnected from the society. You become a selfish person. Then, third thing, you become so bad that you start saying bad things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are talking about a Muslim, don't forget. So he says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا الْبَيْعُ مِثْلُ الرِّبَا. This is because they say trade is not different than interest. What Allah says. وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. But Allah has permitted trading and forbidden interest. Allahu Akbar. Allah is not getting into the here. Allah said Allah is not getting into the let's say discussion. They said Allah, Subhanallah, the trading and riba, they are both same. You see, now they have become so bad that they're saying bad things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is saying Allah made trading halal and riba haram. Can Allah do that? That if something is haram, He will make it halal? If trading is haram, why would Allah make it halal? So this much mad shaitan makes them. This much. So the person is like so determined to commit this sin that he will even say bad things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can Allah make haram lawful? Is it possible? Now here Allah is not getting into the long debates with them. Allah clearly told, I am God. I am wa'ahalallahu. Allah has made it. Who is Allah? Allah is your Lord. You say you believe in Allah? You say you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You say Allah, whatever is Allah saying, I submit to it. You call yourself a Muslim. And then you are putting this allegation on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah will make something haram halal. Such low you have become. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told the person's condition, how shaitan takes full control of the mind, the thoughts, and the feelings of the heart. How the shaitan will make you his worshipper. Yet you will call yourself a Muslim. Now, when we talk about Allah made trading halal and Allah made riba haram, the question comes, what's the difference? Because logically, when people say trading is the same, and when you are, you sell, for example, a pen. You took a pen for 10 rupees, you sold it for 12 rupees. So you took the 2 rupees as extra. That is also how I give 10 rupees to someone, I lend someone, and I say, give 2 rupees extra with it. What is the difference? Right? Apparently, their argument is quite logical. But this will be logical only to those who do not have knowledge. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives complete knowledge to the Muslim of everything. Now, what's the difference? Number one, what is riba and what is trade profit? Interest is when you give someone to someone which you already have extra. Mind it. You have something extra which is above your needs, right? So it could be money, it could be some things. You don't immediately need it, so you lend it to the other person who is needy. And then you ask the person to return not what you deserve in return, but extra. Fine. What is trading? First of all, you bought something so that you can sell it and live upon that, what you earn from it. It's not something extra for you, it's something which is going to get you your livelihood. And if this is not the case, this is something which is like maybe you earn more than what you need, yet you are first of all putting in effort to buy something to be able to sell it. So the first thing, any first difference between trading and between riba is that the profit and loss. When you give riba or you earn riba, there is no loss. It's always a profit. For example, a person buys a car on loan and bank says that, okay, I'll buy a car. I'll give you $100,000 and you will return us $1,300. $100 and $1,300, right? Now, the person's car, he paid only two installments, let's say, and the car got into an accident. It's fully damaged. Bank will not say, okay, fine, now the car is not there, you're on. Bank will say, we don't care about it. We want our money back. No loss at all. In trading, or I will also explain the difference between Islamic banking and trading. In trading, if a person buys, let's say, 100 pieces of uh, a mobile to be sold, maybe not all his mobiles are sold. Maybe some other factors, the price reduced and came to the equal to the cost of the. So he has to sell off at break even. He bought for 100 real, he has earned only the 100 real to secure the principal amount. He has to sell it off. He can't keep it because he will say, okay, fine, tomorrow when the money will, the price will increase, I'll give. You see, the profit and the loss. In trading, profit and loss, there is always a risk. In trust, there is no risk. So you can imagine it's like you don't move your hands and you earn. And there you are worried day and night, devising new strategies, exploring new markets, giving new benefits to the customers. Efforts. Second thing is efforts. Profit and loss is the first thing. Second thing is efforts, what a person do. When you are lending money to others to get interest on it, what effort are you doing? Just to write a check or take out a cash from your drawer. That's it. And in trading, you are giving your blood and sweat to be able to sell off your products. Then here I will tell you about how is it different from the Islamic banking. In Islamic banking, what do? They say, we will buy a car. We will not give you money. We will buy a car. This is called mudarba. There are different things, musharaka, mudarba, and other. So there could be different conditions, but either they will buy a car for you or they will pay half of the payment and half you will pay, something like that. So what happens now? Now the car's installments will be paid off in this time period, right? And if the car gets damaged, we will bear the cost with you, or the cost of the car will be reduced. And at the starting, they will take some fee for processing. And that's the minimal, not like how much usury you have to pay to the bank, other conventional ones. So, this is how the profit and loss is shared between the bank, Islamic bank, and the customer. And effort is again, the person will have to pay off by working hard, of course. And the bank is going to suffer if the customer gets into damage or anything. Third thing, the cash flows in the society. So when a person is lending money and taking interest, only he is benefiting. The cash is not flowing in the society. But when a person is trading, now he buys, somebody is producing costs, products. The second person is buying it. The third person is yani retailing. The third person is buying it and selling it. You see, it's a long chain. I have simplified it to the 3 or 4 levels. Sometimes it's multi level. So now the cash is flowing in the society. The society is flourishing. It's productive. Everybody's benefiting. Some less, some a lot. That's the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here comes the distribution of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here comes the qadar. Those who are earning more, those who are earning less, they should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they are the part of this cash flow. And whatever Allah desired for them, gave them. Now, there in interest, would the person ever be thankful? He will say, this is me who is very wisely investing my money and getting the extra on it. Sitting at home every month, people come and pay off their interest. When the principal will come, we will see. Then, community as a whole benefit. Cash flows in the society when the trade is done. And when interest is given or taken, then only the person who is the debtor will benefit. And then the whole society will not benefit from it. And most importantly, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person who takes interest on his money, he's not obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or gives interest on this, he's not obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person who is doing trading, because he does not want to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you imagine the reward? You know, the biggest deed in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking Allah as your only ilah. For this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guaranteed whoever will say La ilaha illallah, even if he does the sins, he repents, Allah will forgive him. Ultimately, he will go to Jannah as well. Only this deed that one has taken Allah to be is only ilah. So the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a person leaves haram means of earning just because He says, I will be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do not want displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you imagine how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with him? So leave everything aside. Making Allah happy with us. Isn't it worth it? And when a person is like, sometimes people, while there was a man in Bani Israel. I think if you remember, if you were taking Riyazu Salihin classes, we learned about that man. What he used to do, he would tell his assistant that if somebody comes and he's unable to pay for the things they have taken and they're poor enough and they take it on debt. Yani they take the thing, but they are unable to pay today, and they say we will pay after a few days the price of the things they have bought. And next time also they come and they are unable to pay, forgive them. They would hide their loans. So this businessman, when he did that, and on the yani, it's like when he will die. In the hadith, it says that Allah will ask him, why did you do that? And he will say that for your sake. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive him for all his sins. Can you understand? Can you understand how rewarding it is to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Allah forgave him just because he used to write off the debts of the poor for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and secretly. Nobody knew it. Only those whose debt was forgiven. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repay. Allah doesn't have to. But Allah is Al-Muhsin. You do ihsan, Allah will do more ihsan on you. And then what does this do? It removes selfishness. It makes the heart soft. It removes the hatred from the society. It removes the feeling of isolated and feeling of that. Yani, it makes you connected with the people. When you do trading, when you, subhanallah, you lend the money to someone who is needy and then you don't take it back. The next verse is talking about that also. The greater level of ihsan. So when people, they leave usury, this increases love and affection amongst people. And then people see that there is no fairness. That again leads to, now think about two people, right? One person, he has some money, he lended it to the other person, and he had to give interest on that. Now, this person is saying, why my God did not give me that money so that I don't have to take it from him? And see, he's earning every day. I'm working hard. I'm dying. I am getting older before time. My generations are going to suffer. What is this unfair society? They will relate it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this person will become a reason. The person who lended the money on interest will become a reason for the other person to disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's justice. You see Shaitan's work? What a knitted conspiracy he does. Every action leads to the next bad action and the bad consequences in the society. So this unjust society, unfair society, People will not think it's the people. They will say this is the distribution of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Na'udhu billah, thumma na'udhu billah. So sometimes our wrong actions may lead people to the disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the benefit of trade profit is that a productive society with high moral values will be developed. Everybody says Indonesia, Malaysia, these countries were not Muslims. Islam did not spread there because people went there to do dawah. No, only because of the fairness in trade deals, those people became Muslim. Today, the most populated countries of Muslims is Indonesia. How did they become Muslim? Only because they saw fair trade deals. The whole country, imagine the whole country became Muslim because of this. You see the direct link, how people either will be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take him as their only God, Lord, Ilah, or they will be unthankful to him because of humans' actions. So, such a society will have high moral values, high moral values. And where there is interest, they will become like Jews. They will become like Hindu Banyas, selfish, only worried about themselves, only worried about their um, offspring. And then, most important difference between the conventional and commercial or Islamic and conventional banks. The thing is the mode of business. When a bank takes the money, a person goes and keeps his money in the bank, right? Now, the person who is giving money is the lender and the bank is the debtor. The bank has taken the debt from or the loan from you. Now, your money, how would the bank uses it? The bank will invest that money into other businesses so that they earn profit and they give that profit back to the lender. Yani you, me, those who keep their money in the bank, right? So now think about the saving accounts. Why do people have saving accounts? We know banking is not something, especially when it's not Islamic banking. It's not something where we get the profit, which might be haram, but we yet open our profit and loss accounts. Or let's say the saving account, sorry, not the profit and loss account, saving account. We avoid opening profit and loss or current account. We avoid doing that. Why? Because we know that, okay, we are putting our money, why not earn some extra money on that? Right? So when it's in Islamic banking, how is it okay? And how is it not okay when it's in the commercial bank or conventional banks? The difference is where do they invest our money? The commercial or the conventional banks, they will invest that money into the businesses who are earning interest. The insurance companies, the other banks, the loans to the businesses on interest. So they secure their profit, or let's say they secure their earnings because they don't care if a business man, he gets into a loss. They will definitely get their interest and their principal back, their principal money back. So that is why it's a confirmed profit for those who keep their money in conventional or commercial banks. That's why you always see that you will never hear that the bank is not paying to those who open their saving accounts. The saving account is also a trap of shaitan. Save, 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 save. Don't give it to the others, even if they are in need. Save for your children, save for their education, save for their weddings, save for. So you don't have any worry in the future. I'm not saying it's wrong. Remember, a Muslim should be wise enough to not be dependent on others, but at the same time should not be a miser. Saving accounts is a trap. Saving certificates, because what you are doing, you are not having full tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your child who is going to get into the school in 10 years' time, you are saving money from now so that when the child goes to the school or the university or the college, you don't have to worry about the fees. But you see that in your society, people are dying because of hunger. People are dying because they are unable to pay their loans. People are unable to provide their family for 3 times meal. They don't have shelter. They don't have clothes to wear. And you are saving for your child's university. That means you don't trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't think Allah will fulfill your needs. And He says, there is a hadith of Qudsi. I was hungry. Why didn't you feed me? I didn't have clothes. Why didn't you give me clothes? Allah will say this to humans. That means if we fulfill the needs of a human, the other person, it's like we are doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who doesn't need it. He's only rewarding you for that. So this is the difference. The conventional or the commercial banks, they will invest money where they never have a loss. Those who give interest. So they will earn from interest and they will pay you off your profits from interest. That's why it's haram. What is the difference in Islamic banking? They will do profit and sharing business with other businesses, or they will have their own business, or they will invest this money with the businesses who do not pay interest, but they have the partnership with musharaka, which is called, they will have the partnership with the companies in the businesses who will have profit and loss sharing. This is the difference. That's why when they give you profit, that's sometimes a lot and sometimes there is no profit, sometimes very low amount. So when it's fixed, that means it's in trust because there is no risk involved. So this is how we must know the difference because we are Muslims. We can never stay jahil. Even if you can't remember all these things, you should clearly know that the basic difference is where the money is invested. The basic difference is, yani these 2 points, if you remember. Number one, the profit and loss risk. Number two, the efforts, let's say, when it's the individuals. And number three, where is it invested and how the money is earned. So, inshallah, you will always be able to. You don't have to go to the scholars. Okay, tell me, is it right? Is it wrong? Should I buy this? Should I invest there? Should I keep in this bank or not? Just see these three things and you will know you answer yourself, inshallah. Bismillahi ta'ala. So, we were unable to do the whole verse, but I think it's worth it because this action, this act of taking in trust or usury is such a heinous crime in Islam in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah has warned such people of war against them. And that's the next verse. So, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, we'll try to continue with this in next class. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who learn and act on that for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who learn His verses, who learn His Sharia, His Deen, Islam, and act on that and live upon that, and may we die on that. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم آمين ثم آمين for all your du'as جزاكم الله خير وإياكم وبارك الله فيكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.